Hi, good evening, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, nice to see you again. Welcome on our platform, Relationship Matters. Relationship Matter is your platform where we talk about everything to do with relationship and with engagement and the things that can, that can come up, and we give tips how we can make our relationship to be stronger, to be enjoyable, and to last longer. This is the reason why we come here every day to give some tips like that. Okay. Now, as we say, the motto for our platform is quite simple. Number one is that a successful relationship is hard work. You must work in your relationship to make it successful. Okay. And the second tip is the success of a relationship depends not on you finding the right person, but it's actually you becoming the right person for your spouse. And the third one is the successful relationship is not to find the right person, but is actually learning to know and to love the person that you have found. That is the person the Lord has prepared for you. Those three things make a relationship very successful. Okay. Now, last video we talked about relationship marriage killers, the things that can kill a marriage, the things that when we don't take care of them, they can be poison to our relationship. And they have been proven, and that's why we brought them to you so that you can be aware of those things. Most of those things we do them daily, maybe we don't realize, but actually they are poison to our relationship. Today, again, we're coming to a different one. So, we're talking about marriage fertilizers, meaning that the things that we do that can fertilize your marriage, that can make it a better place, that can make your love to grow, that can sustain your love. Okay. Now, most of those things we spoke about on our previous videos, if you go along. But today, we want kind of to refresh your mind again. If you are not be applying those things, you want to apply them. We call them fertilizers. What is a fertilizer? A fertilizer in agriculture or agronomy is something that you put on the soil to enrich the soil to make it more nutritious for the plant to grow. So when you put fertilizer in the soil, they can be natural fertilizers or they can be artificial like chemicals. So when you put them, the aim is to enrich the soil, and when the plant are there, they will grow quicker and you have good plant, nice looking fruit because they are getting the nutrition from those fertilizers. The same happen with a marriage. In the marriage, we have fertilizer, the things that can create environment where you feel loved, you feel wanted, you feel you want to stay longer, you are looking forward to it. This is the aim. That's why God created marriage, so that we can enjoy, so that we can be together, we can put hand together to make things better for one another. So therefore, when we go to a marriage, we are committed to that marriage. The aim is to make sure that it is a good environment and enjoyment environment for both of us. What are those fertilizer? Well, I wrote down here some few tips which I want to share with you. I have 8 of them. Okay, 8 of them. The thing that you know, but let us go through them. The first one, the first fertilizer is love, of course, love. Now, love, if you take love in the case of just sentiment, feelings, is quite dangerous. Why? Because feeling come and go. Okay, feeling will come and go. Mostly when love is based of physical appearance, external appearance, is dangerous because our body does not stay the same. It does change time to time, and that can affect love. When the feeling, when the it's no longer the same appearance, the thing you used to see were attracting is no longer the same. Then you begin to say, "Am I in the right place?" But whether the true love, the true fertilizer is the commitment in that relationship. So it's the habit to be, the ability to be committed. Is a good fertilizer when you are committed into that relationship. No matter what happens, good or bad, you say, no, I am in this relationship. I have to work on this relationship. You learn to love the partner that you have. That true love, true commitment is a good fertilizer. It makes you to enjoy your marriage, to enjoy your relationship. It will last longer. Okay. So, for instance, a man, if you are loving your wife because she looks beautiful, the way I should love it. But what happens if her physics changes? When she starts bearing children or anything happen to her, will you still love her? You see, this is, we call it by sensuality. This is like the appearance that's attracting you. But whereas the true love is that you are living with somebody, you learn to know the person, now you become independent. I mean, you become like committed to that person. You know that person, if the person is not around, you are missing that person. It's no longer the physical attraction, but it's actually the heart of the person. That's the true love, you see. When you find a person like that, you are committed to it. You begin to love the person more. That's the good fertilizer. It creates an environment of stay longer together. That's the whole things about love. Love is not about feeling only. Yes, feeling a part of it, but it's mostly about the commitment you have that I must make things to work. I'm here. I'm committed to this. I don't want to give myself to anyone else. I'm here. This is my place. So I make it a better place for me and for my spouse. Okay? So that is the first fertilizer. The second fertilizer is what? Is what we call by, last time we talked that sexual infidelity is a killer, is the big killer of any relationship, because it's betrayal, is the somebody you are betray your partner. So a good fertilizer that can make your relationship to last longer is what we call by sexual faithfulness. Be faithful. Sexually be faithful. Now it's not only about the body that you give to your partner. Now it's most to do is, yes, the body, but also your eyes, your thought, your mind, your soul, your heart. You see, this must be faithful to who? To your spouse. Okay? So when your eyes, your mind, your thought, your heart is faithful to your spouse, that would be called by sexual faithfulness. Why? Let me tell you. If your eyes are seeing something else that is beautiful, that's more attractive, your eye sees it, it goes to your mind. Your mind begin to make some ideas. This is good. This is very soon it enter your heart. When it enter your heart, it push you into action. And when it push you into action, you go and betray your partner because you are seeing something. You are. But whereas when you control yourself, you have to be disciplined enough to control your eyes, to control your mind. Don't allow anything of such that can push you to become unfaithful to come across you. For instance, if you are easily carried away by the things you see, like you can see like pornographic things, images, or erotic images, or things like that can easily take you away. Movies that can things like that, don't put yourself into that. Remove yourself for such things. So make your eyes, your heart, your mind faithful to the partner you have. It takes self-discipline, okay? It takes self-discipline because you have to control also, be aware of the consequences that your um, unfaithfulness can bring into your life. You see, if you are unfaithful, if you are sexual unfaithful, look at the consequences that can bring into your marriage, not only to yourself, to your partner. You'll affect your partner, it affect everything, and it will have a detrimental impact on your own life. You see, so when we think that way, then we say no. We put ourselves disciplined enough to control our sexual instincts, to be faithful to our partner. And when we do that, we create an atmosphere whereby we want to be there. When your partner knows that you are a faithful husband, you are a faithful wife, you see that the environment it creates an environment that I'm here all for you. Yeah, I'm here all for you. You are here all for me. You see that fertilizer, it creates a good soil for your love to grow. You love each other. You commit yourself to one another. You are free to express yourself one another in everything. So sexual faithfulness is a good fertilizer. Okay. The third one is what we call by humility. Okay, humility is a great fertilizer. Every partners or couple that are live together for long together successfully in the marriage, ask them. They will tell you that one of the greatest secrets is the ability to be humble towards your spouse, to recognize that you are not perfect, that all of us do mistakes. So because we do mistakes, I do not expect perfection from my partner. Okay, so I appreciate my partner for who she is, for who he is. So I forgive. I must be quick to forgive and be very important to humble yourself. That to humble yourself, that if you have done a mistake or anything like that, humble yourself. That creates a good environment. That is a good fertilizer that makes all of you to be like, oh, to be free. in the way, to be free, that I'm free. Yeah, I've done a mistake. I'm here to support you. Don't worry, things will be good. That is very, very important. That humble heart is very, very important. Now, sometime in the couple, some one spouse can be proud, can be arrogant, can be things like that. That is a killer, as we say last time, is a killer. Now, I'll give you a tip. If you want to beat that, try to write down at least three things you think your spouse is good at. Okay, husband, write three things, for instance, you think your wife is good at. The best thing, that my wife is good in cooking, maybe is good in taking care of the house, is good on maybe taking care of the children, things like that, right? These are the three things. Now, look at yourself. Can you cook as good as your wife does? No. Therefore, why are you proud of? You see, that's something you are not also good at. Can you take care of the house the way your wife is? Because sometimes when your wife is not around, you are everything's upside down. Can you see that? Then give credit to her. So humble yourself, say that she's good in it. Okay. For instance, if your wife is good in taking care of the children, and when she's not around, how do you feel? You feel panicky. You say you don't know what to do. Give credit to her. Okay. Say that no, my wife is good at that. Can you see that? The same thing also, wife, write down the two things that you think your husband is good at. For instance, your husband is good, is a visionary. He know is good visionary. He know how to manage finance. He know how to bring plan, things like that. Write those things down. Now see yourself. Can you manage the way your husband manage? No. Therefore, don't be proud. You see, be humble. Can you take the family the way your husband does? No. So cool down. So when you begin to see these things, there's no room for you to be proud of. Then you begin to know that you are just a human being like your husband, like your wife. So don't expect something perfect, extra perfect from your partner. No. When you do that, you are just putting yourself to problems. But when you accept the way it is, it's a good fertilizer. It creates a good environment where you express yourself freely and just with freedom. And that is a good fertilizer to make love, to grow, to make you to bound together as united, as one body. And you will enjoy your love. You enjoy your marital love. It will last longer. Okay. The next one is closer to this, what we call by patience and forgiveness. Okay. Now, again, two people can only live together when you learn to forgive one another, when you learn to be patient one another. When you are that, easily forgive. Okay, anything that happened in the past, don't keep it in your heart. Let your heart to be free, because what happened here is anything you keep in your heart, you are keeping the record of the bad things happened before. What my spouse, what's my husband, what my wife, that you are keeping this as a record is a poison to your relationship. But whereas when you forgive those things, you forget those things, you are patient, you give your spouse the room to improve. Okay, which we'll go to the next time, the next one. But here you give the room to improve. It's a good fertilizer. It creates freedom. The most important is freedom, that you are free to express yourself. You are not afraid, oh, maybe my partner would. No, you are free. Be who you are. That's what the Lord has called us. That's what nature, God has called us to be in the relationship. Be who you are. So be free. Learn to forgive one another. Don't bring the past error into this. Mostly, if you have spoken to that already, you have went through it already, you forget one. Don't bring that back again. That is a killer. But whereas when you learn to forgive, that's a good fertilizer. It makes your love to grow stronger. It makes you to love one another, because you know that my partner is always there to help me. Okay, in this same thing is, in that relationship you help one another, you support one another. It's very important. Okay, for instance, if going some kind of difficulty in life or in the workplace or things like that, you support one another. Is a good fertilizer that makes the love actually to grow and to grow stronger. So let us learn to be patient, to give time, that things will change as we go along, to cooperate one another, and most importantly, to forgive if there are any mistake that happens. The fifth fertilizer is time. Of course, time is the greatest thing ever. In the marriage, if you don't have time for one another, that marriage will not last longer. It's a great fertilizer. That means that you must always create time. That is the most precious moment you have in your relationship, the time you spend with your spouse, with your partner, it must be the most precious time you can ever have. Okay, maybe both of you are working, but after work make sure to create a time, because that time is just priceless. It's the moment you are together, the moment you talk together, the moment you chat, you talk about everything and everything. It's the moment you feel the love of one another, you feel the warmness of one another. That's moment you have to cherish it. Don't allow anybody to rob you from that moment. It's a good fertilizer. That's where we open up our heart. You see, the time we spend together. Apart from the time staying together, also time to time create what we call by I can call it date night, right? To go out with your spouse time to time. Yes, very important. This time when we are together is a good fertilizer. Two people cannot be together if they don't spend time together. Just remember that. When you spend time together, you create a good environment for your relationship to grow, for the love to continue to be stronger and stronger. Okay? Now that now leads me to the sixth one. The sixth one is what? Communication. Okay? Since you create a time together, now you have the opportunity to communicate, to talk together. Now, it has shown that most of marriages they hit the rock when partner don't have time for one another and they don't communicate a lot together. Of course, if you don't communicate well together, then there's no really room for love to grow. So the fertilizer here is to make sure that the communication is there. You talk with your spouse, with your wife, with your husband about everything, about money, about the plan you have. What are your dreams? What are you planning for the kids, for instance? How you are planning your finances, everything. Talk about your fear, talk about your anxieties. What are you afraid of? What are you mostly trying to avoid? Things like that. That comes as a result of communication. Very, very important. Okay. And when you communicate, it brings your heart together. During communication, you come to know the heart of your spouse, you know the heart of your wife, you know the heart of your husband, and then those two hearts come together. When those two hearts come together, they become inseparable. You see, it's a good fertilizer. Time, communication, very, very important. Okay, don't play with it. Make sure you always find time. Okay, no matter how busy you are, make sure you find time. When you travel, make sure you find time. You go to work, you come back, you find time with your spouse and talk together about everything. Okay. The next one, the seventh one, is what we call by honesty and trust. Honesty and trust. Very, very crucial. Many marriages they break down because lack of trust and honesty. Okay, as we spoke last time. The lack of trust and honesty is what is a poison to any marriage, to any relationship. When we are honest and we are trustworthy, that is a good fertilizer. It makes our love to last longer. That's why be honest is very important. Now it comes with time as you begin to live together. The key is this: be who you say you are and do the things you promise you will do. That create trust. Okay? What you promise that you will do, do it. Be who you are and be honest about who you are. In the relationship, the freest place you can be in life is in your marriage. That the freest place you can be, because here is no, you are open, you are like naked to your partner, in front of your partner. So your heart, everything about you is naked, is blank, is on the table, so nothing to hide. Therefore, be honest as you can, as trustworthy, because that you create trust. When your spouse knows that you are a very honest person, they trust you to death. People can say anything. They say, no, you don't know my spouse. My spouse is like this, is like this, is like this. You see, the outsider people see a different picture, but your wife sees a different picture of you. She can be able to stand, she can swear for it. She say, no, this is the way my husband is, this is the way my wife is. Therefore, honesty and trust is a good fertilizer. When she knows or he knows that my wife or my husband is trustworthy, is honest, is a good fertilizer that can make love to grow, because I trust the person I trust. My person I know is honest, that love will begin to grow. But if there are certain things that you are hiding, you see, your wife is not aware, your husband is not aware, they create kind of doubt. When doubt start coming in, believe you me, that love begin to shake. it will not last longer. The feeling, as I said to you, is not about the feeling. You see, the commitment may begin to evaporate. When the commitment evaporates, it's just a matter of time before that love will disappear. So therefore, honesty and trust is very, very important. The last fertilizer, as I'm finishing, is what we call by don't be selfish. Now, the good word I wrote in that is selflessness. Selflessness, right? Selflessness is the opposite of selfishness. So selflessness. Yes, that's a good word. What does that mean? You see, everything that I told you now, it comes as a result of selfishness. According to the survey, according to the study that have been done about many marriages, many couples, right? Most of marriages are broken down because of selfishness. What does that mean? A selfish person is the person who thinks about himself. If the person is proud, he thinks that he's the only one who is the best, is the only one he knows better in that relationship. A selfish person is the person who does not have compassion towards the feelings of the other person. Right? For instance, the first thing, yeah, let us see. The first thing we talk about what sexual faithfulness, all right? A faithful person, he does not think about the consequences. He think about himself, just going to enjoy himself, to satisfy himself. He's a selfish person. He does not think that as I'm doing that, I'm hurting my partner. Can you see that? So selfishness is the killer. It destroys. A selfish person is somebody who is, when he have the money, he think about himself. Okay, I'll buy this. It's made to look good. I'm buying the good things for myself. It's about me. That's also a killer. A selfish person is a person who does not want to spare his time with the spouse. So when he comes from work, things like that, he think about himself. But don't you know that you have a wife, that you have a husband, that you have to share your time with your spouse? You see, that's also selfish. Selfish also the time that you don't like talking. There's no communication. Is everybody sit on himself? That selfishness is also a killer. Can you see that? So selfishness is the root of everything in the marriage. Selfishness makes you do not share your plan, your thought with your partner. You keep everything from within yourself. So that is a killer. Can you say that is a killer? Therefore, it's very important that to be selflessness. Okay, yeah, selflessness. So meaning that open up, embrace your partner, share what you have with your partner, share your time, share your heart, share your commitment, everything with your partner. When you do that, it's a good fertilizer that makes the love to grow. So all in all, those are the 8 things I wanted to share with you this night. Okay, so go through them again and look at them one by one. When we begin to apply those little things, as I said before, they are fertilizers. What happens is they make the soil to be nutritious and love to grow. Love needs nutrients so that it can grow. And those things that I share with you, those are the nutrients that you have to plant into your love, into the soil, sorry, the source that I mean your life, living together, so that love can grow. And when love is growing, you stay together, you begin to love one another. Even when you are old, you find out that the older you become, the more even tighter you become. Okay, so this is all I wanted to share with you. So we stop there tonight, and next week we carry another thing that can make, we call it how to create more romance in your relationship. Okay, so for tonight we stop there. We see you again next week, same time, 8 p.m. British time, same place. See you again. Bye bye. You can comment if you have any comment, you have any question, please make sure you tap them and we find a way. If you want us to reach you, you can tell us how we can reach you to send you the answer. If you have any question, feel free to tap there and we try to respond to your questions. Okay, so have a good evening and see you again next week. Bye bye.